According to data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the accident rate as a function of the age of the driver in years x can be approximated by the function f of x is equal to 0.0232x squared minus 2.28x plus 60 for 16 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 85. Find both the age at which the accident rate is a minimum and the minimum rate. All right, so notice that they give us a quadratic function. We know it's a quadratic because it's got an x squared. And then they tell us this function is for 16 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 85. Notice x is the age of the driver. And so this function is good for drivers between 16 and 85 years old. And this function gives the accident rate. So f of x is going to be the accident rate. And so we're looking for the minimum age at which the age at which the accident is the minimum and what that minimum rate is, which means, again, notice that in this case, x is going to be the age, and then the f of x, the output, is going to be the accident rate. And we're looking for both the minimum age or the age at which the accident rate is a minimum. Notice they give us a quadratic, and we know that because that leading coefficient is positive, then this quadratic opens up. And so we have a quadratic, a parabola, wherever it happens to be, we know it's going to open up, which means it's going to have a minimum point, which is made up of an x and a y, an age and a rate. And so we're asked to find both. We're asked to find the age at which that minimum occurs. That would be the x. And we're asked to find the minimum rate. That would be the y. So when we're looking for a minimum, we have a formula. Anytime we're asked to find minimum or a maximum of a quadratic equation, we can use the formula x is equal to negative b over 2a in order to find the minimum x. And then once we know that x, we can plug it in to find the y value of the minimum. And so in this case, the negative b and the 2a, the b and the a come from our quadratic equation. So we have the equation y is equal to 0.0232x squared minus 2.28x plus 60. And so the a is the leading coefficient, and the b is what's multiplied by the x. And so we plug those in. So we get x is equal to negative, and then we plug in negative 2.28 for b over 2 times, and then we plug in 0.0232 for a. So simplifying, minus a negative gives us a positive 2.28 over 0.0464 when we multiply. And then dividing to simplify that, we get 49.14. And so that's going to tell us the x value, the age at which the accident rate is a minimum. And notice over here in MyMathLab, it does want us to round to the nearest year. So we're going to round that to 49 years. And then we plug that back in order to find the minimum accident rate. And so plugging that back into our equation, f of 49, and so we get 0.0232 times 49 squared minus 2.28 times 49 plus 60. And then we plug that all in our calculator to simplify, and we end up with 3.98. And this one did want us to round to the nearest hundredth. So the nearest hundredth is 2 decimal places. So we've rounded that to 2 decimal places to get 3.98. And so plugging those in, the minimum is 49 years at which the accident rate occurs, and the minimum accident rate is 3.98.